Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. In any relationship or in a society, there are some rules, laws, and the laws should apply equally to each and every member of the society. Because if the rules or laws do not apply equally, that means someone is considered inferior than others. And that's not right. Correct? Correct. Therefore, if you, let's say, claim that you feel threatened by someone's, move, well, it gives the same right to someone else to feel threatened by the same kind of move, done by someone else. In this case, Russia considered that NATO move into Ukraine will be a threat to their national security. Therefore, let's discuss a way so we can disperse the situation. Our concerns. Well, the Americans said, and NATO countries followed, of course, you should not be concerned. None of your business what we do. And then the Russians brought their troops, correct, remember, by the Ukrainian borders on the Russian territory. How did the West react to that? No, you can't do that. You are obviously escalating a situation. Pull back your troops from your own territories. Why? Because you don't have the right for, being scared about us, because we are good people. All right, so they claimed you have no reason to justify your troops build up at the border, because we don't threaten you. You should not be feeling threatened. Well, if that was true then we're going to apply the same logic right now on this issue, which is Poland and Belarus. The Polish military beefed up lately and it's increasing its capabilities, which is their own right. They can do whatever they want. I agree with that. You can arm yourself. The problem is, if you do something that someone else did already and was interpreted in a certain way, you should be judged by the same standards. Otherwise, it's going to be double standard. So now the Poles, which are beefing up their military, they even suggested that they should have nuclear weapons deployed on their territory. For whom? Not for Germany yet, but for Russia and Belarus. Of course, they bring troops to the Belarusian border, claiming the same as the Russian claimed. They feel threatened by what's going on in Belarus and they might defend themselves. Exactly what the other guys said. Well, do you think that the West will interpret that as such? Or they will take the Polish government's legitimate concerns as legitimate? But the other ones, get out of here. Just invade, man. You're late. What do you think? Now, the Poles, through all their behavior, like arming themselves, getting NATO troops on, being okay asking for nuclear weapons, does it sound like a defensive move or an offensive one? Well, we're just going to find, right? I mean, the best way to keep someone at bay is arming yourself and being ready. It doesn't mean you have to provoke or anything. But the Russians provoked, the Poles do not provoke. They just defend themselves. They're right. See, it's a double standard. Could Poland invade Belarus? Not impossible. You know that song, I Shot the Sheriff. Kill it before it grows. The same here with Belarus. Kill it before he grows. Before the Russians take, really place missiles and beef up whatever military capability Belarus might have in the future, maybe a swift attack to take over, which I think is going to be a suicide mission undertaken by the Poles. But hey, they have their boss over there, Zimbabwe across the Atlantic, will tell them straight what they need to do, and they will do it because they're the Trojan horse in Europe at this point. They follow their interest. I'm all for it. I don't like when you do some other people's dirty job and then you say, no, I'm independent. I do whatever I want. No, really. Poland did not cross United States yet. It crossed everybody else. The European Union, the Germans, they won $1.3 trillion in reparations for the Second World War. They're going to sue them. They are in the process of suing Germany, the Poles, the Allies. They have a problem with Ukraine, of course, with that genocide in Ukraine of Polish militaries, and not only. I'm not talking about the Katyn forest, okay, done by some extreme wing of the. Remember, if you don't, I will provide you Volin or something like this massacre. They call it something like that. And these guys know it was a genocide. But hey, let's go to this article. Russia Today. Today, July 8, 2023. Poland deploys troops to Belarus border. Now, if you substitute Poland with Russia and Belarus with Ukraine, and you turn back time to, let's say, January 2022, what will be the next move? Russia deploys troops to Ukraine's border. It was such a headline there. There were many of them, actually. And how was it interpreted? Oh my God, what's going on here? And Warsaw claims that, so Warsaw's defense chief accuses Minsk of waging a hybrid war against Poland. So, again, if something is valid to me, the same something should be valid to you too, otherwise it's double standard. So, Belarus is not at war, doesn't fund anybody anywhere in Poland to destroy them. Like, for instance, the United States funds and Poland funds and gives weapons and so on to Ukraine. That's not a hybrid war. Poland is not fighting a hybrid war against Russia in Ukraine. Even though it sends help, money, support, weapons, intelligence, and some special troops over there to just look around. But they are not waging a war against Russia. But the Belarusians are waging war against Poland, doing nothing of what the Poles are doing in Ukraine to the Russians. So again, that is a hybrid, but what you're doing is not a hybrid. How does that work? Well, you lose credibility, which is lost for me, when you claim these kind of things. Poland is not bringing its troops to the Belarusian border because Belarus wages a hybrid war against Poland. Because that means what? Russia should bring its troops to the Polish borders because Poland, more than Belarus is doing, wages a hybrid war on Russia. Don't you think? I mean, look at the proportion. But you're going to see what the justification the Poles are bringing to say that Belarus is waging a hybrid war against Poland. Now, militarily, I think Poland could squash Belarus in 3 days, militarily, at this point. Not only by population, by armament and so on. If it would be one-on-one, sorry Belarus, but these guys will do it. Okay, so, but again, it seems like lately the strong countries, United States, is always a victim, is always bullied by someone into responding. Now Poland seems to use the same technique. Well, I'm bullied by these guys, I have to react somehow. You can say, well, the Russians did the same thing. Well, if you bring your troops by my border and you're gonna plant missiles towards me, I think I should smack you. But hey, that's me. If you don't want, it's okay. Let your neighbor and others just parade in front of your property and place all kind of bazookas ready for you and booby traps around your property and see how you're gonna feel. You're gonna still watch TV and drink a beer and say, they're fine, they're just playing kids, I don't think so. All right, and if you do, good for you. Poland will deploy hundreds of soldiers and vehicles to the border with Belarus, its military has said, stressing the need to prevent attempts to destabilize the region. So this is vague, based on no evidence, but it's okay, they will do this. And how about if right now is just deploy and tomorrow is just invade, using the same thing? Well, we had to invade because we need to prevent the attempts to destabilize the region. So it's like someone comes in the street, walks towards you and start beating you because he thinks that you might beat him. I thought that this guy might try to beat me, so therefore I just go and I preemptively break his nose really bad. Is that how it works? Hey, that's how it works. Imagine that. This is the arguments the Poles are giving. The other guys will try to destabilize us, so we bring the troops here. Or if you bring the troops based on you reacted to your imaginative behavior of the Belarusians. What stops you from invading based on the same, they are destabilizing? The problem is we're the good, they're the bad. That's where everything starts, according to these guys. It's like a dogma, good versus evil. That's what it is. Because only then you say what you do is bad because you're bad, even though they don't do anything other than what you do. That's a hybrid war over here against us, but what we wage over there, that's not hybrid war. We're defending Ukraine because Ukraine was blah, 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 blah. But we don't. Okay, all right. So that's how we are supposed to look at it. Warsaw's 12th Mechanized Division, part of the Polish land forces, announced the operation on Friday. In the coming days, around 1,000 troops and 200 units of equipment will be stationed in the eastern province of Podlaskie, on the border with Belarus. The aim, I'm quoting, the aim of Operation Safe Podlaskie. You see how they do it? Well, we need to defend ourselves. The Russians could not claim that right. Is to demonstrate our will and ability to respond immediately to attempts to destabilize the situation at our border. So that means whatever the Poles will determine to be a destabilization, they will have to respond. Got it? So they said, whatever we determine as being destabilizing the situation at the border, we will respond. Here you have it. Now, if that's not provoking, I don't know what it is, but hey, look at it however you want. Anyway, while the military offered few details about the mission, Polish defense minister appeared to refer to the move earlier on Friday. Speaking to a local media outlet, Mariusz said Warsaw is working to, quote-unquote, deter a potential aggressor and vowed to respond to all these threats. So the weaker country will attack you, the same as Syria attacks the United States, and everybody attacks the United States somehow. United States, poor United States, the weakest country on this planet, has to react. Like, what the hell are you doing in Syria again? Oh, anyway, he went on to claim that Poland was attacked, I'm quoting, in a hybrid war from the territory of Belarus 2 years ago, and appeared reference to the so-called EU border crisis of 2021. They didn't like immigrants or something? And I'm quoting. I know exactly what they're talking about here. All right. And I'm quoting. The Polish army already has over 175,000 soldiers under arms. Thank you very much for the fact that so many people volunteer to serve in the Polish army. It is very important that Poland is safe. Well, that same thing applies to Russia, doesn't it? No. So, it says, in an interview with Russian state TV last month, Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko explained that Minsk would enter the conflict in Ukraine if aggression is committed against us, warning that potential attacks from the territory of Poland, Ukraine, or any other Baltic states. So, warning of potential attacks. So here is, they all feel threatened by the other side, obviously, and they're all, I'm gonna counter if they attack me. And like that, nobody would attack, right? Only the bad people would attack. Again, it's the same thing as many things that happen in history where people invaded other countries on a pretext of weapons of mass destruction, training terrorists, bringing freedom and democracy, and all that was supposed to be accepted in the elevated intellectual society, which was, with the help of media and name-calling and losing your job as a threat. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Don't get me wrong, Poland can arm itself with how much it wants. I have no problem with doing that. I don't like weasel interpretations. I mean, those guys are fighting a hybrid war against you, but you don't fight a hybrid war against Russia just because you're helping a poor... it doesn't really matter who you're helping. You're involved. Hybrid war, and the Poles love the Russians, and the Russians love the Poles. Why? And the Ukrainians love the Poles, and the Ukrainians love the Russians, and the Poles love the Ukrainians. It's a love fest over that. If you get to know some Poles, older ones, and they love their country, you're going to find out how much love is in that part of the world. Why? History, my friends. History. Crimes, both sides. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.